Our condolences.
Our condolences. I remember you talked a lot about her.
Yeah, she just had her birthday party a month ago, and she got a letter from President, from McCain, from everybody, from the mayor. They were going to fly the flag over the White House on her.
Sorry to hear, Marie. Mayor, I also would like to close on behalf, of course, we're all U.S. citizens, and we also need to acknowledge our First Lady, one of our First Ladies that just passed, Barbara Bush, and we want to send the family our condolences and keep them in our prayers. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Susan Rubio. At this point, council members wishing to acknowledge anyone else, or at this point, real quick, just want to acknowledge a council member that served on the city council for many years, who obviously, if you don't know him to this day, then you definitely don't know true value, and you don't know his participation. He was the actual creator of what was referred to as Baldwin Park Beautiful, that we've talked about resurrecting that particular program. So at this point, gives me a great honor, a distinct honor, to our former colleague, Mr. Bill Van Cleve. You can stand up. Thank you, sir. Thank you. For those of you that may not know him, Bill Van Cleve's been in, how many years have you been in the community now, Bill?
Oh, too many. About 45 years.
About 45 years, and an icon in the city of Baldwin Park. Everyone knows Mr. Bill, well, as Mr. Bill, and a council member who served here, who served in the city of Baldwin Park. It was extremely instrumental in moving a lot of things that benefited the city to this date. So thank you, Bill. Say hi to your wife and family as well.
Mayor, I just wanted to add, Mr. Bill was on here serving as a distinguished councilman for many years. He also led the Baldwin Park, Keep Baldwin Park Beautiful program. A lot of youth will work with him for many years, and that was a great program. And thank you for all your hard efforts you did here in the community, Bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you, Bill.
And Mayor?
Yes, Councilmember Cruz Baca.
I'd like to thank Bill for all the wonderful programs that he brought to our children. He was a good friend of my father's, and thank you for stopping by and always saying hello to him. But thank you for all the wonderful programs you brought to Baldwin Park for a lot of our youth. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. At this point, unless council members have anything else to share? Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, I would like to, and I told Pastor Jackson, I asked him if he wanted to go ahead and come up and talks about this, but on May the 12th, I'm sure that a lot of you got the invitation. There's going to be a prayer march at 10 o'clock in the morning. This is very important. We really need this in this time of healing. And especially in our community. So Pastor Jackson and his church are going to be hosting. We will be meeting at the Christ Extended Hand Church at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we will be walking to the New Beginnings Church, correct? Is that correct? So please, those of you that are able to come, if you can't walk, that's fine. Jump in your car and meet us there. We do want everyone to please participate. This is a wonderful march, and like I said, it is a really good way of healing our community. So thank you, Pastor Jackson and your congregation, for hosting this event.
There are several churches that are involved in this. The churches have come together. Not just Christ Extended Hand, it's the churches here involved.
All right. I'll thank you for reminding me that there are other churches and faith-based organizations that will be a part of this. So thank you, Pastor Jackson. Thank you. And also, I want to say congratulations. I don't know if you ever saw on the news, but Hector Barajas is a decorated Army paratrooper that had been deported and was in Tijuana waiting for a long time to be able to get his citizenship and to be able to come back into the United States, along with a lot of our servicemen that have served, including some of my friends from Vietnam, the Vietnam era. And he was deported along with a lot of other officers, or a lot of gentlemen that had served in the armed forces. But he did become a citizen a week or so ago, and congratulations to him and his family, because he did come back, of course.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
All righty. Thank you very much. Thank you. At this point, I'd like to open up we're going to go ahead and bring the presentation, so I'm going to call up several of them like that. We'll kind of get everyone up here at one time. The first one is a certificate presentation to Anastasia Pham for being selected as the 2018 Emerging Leader for the 22nd District by the Office of Senator Edward Hernandez. So is she here? Yes. We could have her come up here. You come up to the dais. You can come up here. You come up here. And then the second one, certificate of presentation to Cynthia Espinosa, Baldwin Park Police Department, for a selection as 2018 Woman of the Year by the Office of Assemblywoman Blanca E. Rubio. So come on up here. Cynthia, I thought I saw Cynthia earlier. De Leon, where's Cynthia? All right. All right. Then also certificate presentation to Mary Poblano, City of Baldwin Park, for her selection as 2018 Woman of the Year by the Office of Senator Edward Hernandez. Then we also have a certificate presentation to Esperanza Herrera, Baldwin Park Unified School District, for her selection as 2018 Woman of the Year by the Office of Congresswoman Grace F. Napolitano. So let's have them up here.
Mayor.
Here.
Esperanza
Not here? Okay, so,
Mayor?
Yes.
It's Esperanza Hernandez.
oh, then there's an error here.
No, Herrera.
Herrera, it says Herrera,
Okay. All the way wrong.
right? Is she here?
Yeah, she's
Oh, yeah,
good.
okay.
What did he say?
You know what? Manny,
We missed you last time. Were you recovering? Yes. Can we move this out of the way?
okay, let's go ahead and give out the first one. Put on my glasses, Manny, there's mine. All right. All right, the first one goes to Anastasia. Pham, come up here. So, 2018 Emerging Leader for the 22nd District. The City Council congratulates you for being selected Emerging Leader by the Office of Senator Edward Hernandez, OD. We commend you for your volunteerism, leadership, and contributions. You are a true example of an extraordinary young lady. Thank you for your favorable recognition on behalf of the City of Baldwin Park. Thank you. Okay, we're going to take a picture of everyone right now. All right, the second one goes to Cynthia Espinosa. Coming up here. All right. So at this point, the 48th Assembly District Woman of the Year Award, the City Council congratulates you for being selected Woman of the Year for Baldwin Park. We commend you for your long history of volunteerism, leadership, and contributions. You are a true example of an extraordinary woman. Thank you for your favorable recognition you bring to our community. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And the next one. Okay, Mayor Poblano, come on up here. Mary, do you want me to go?
I'm talking to
All right.
her.
All right, so this way, on behalf of the City of Baldwin Park, we also present you the Woman of the Year Distinction Award. I want to thank you very much because you're an exemplary individual, a senior and an active person that plays a major role model for other seniors as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All righty. So the next one goes to Esperanza. Did we get the last name right? Herrera? Huh?
Herrera.
Hello, hello. All righty. All right, so we also give you this certificate for a 32nd Congressional District Woman of the Year as well. The city congratulates you, of course, and you've been involved in our senior, with the Senior Citizen Club for many, many years. We want to thank you very much, and we continue great success as you go on because you're an exemplary and a role model as well. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right, you want to say some words? We're going to have everyone say words. No? Okay. Mary, you want to say some words?
Thank you.
You want to say some words?
Yeah, I
Cynthia's got to say some words. All right, we're gonna. Okay, hey, why not? You go next, okay?
Let me just put on my glasses because I can't see anymore. Okay. All right. So first of all, I would like to, I wrote a little something here. I would like to thank the mayor, city council members for this recognition. It humbles me to receive this and to see and feel the support I continue to receive from my peers, supervisor, the chief of police, but most of all from our Baldwin Park community. Thank you so much for everything. If it wasn't for everybody that I just mentioned, I wouldn't be up here. So thank you.
I just want to thank my family, especially my sisters, And I want to also thank California Mental Health Connection, as well as my case managers for my group. It really helps, and I'm very thankful to have all these people in my life.
Awesome. Let's get a big picture. Let's get him on this side.
Tighter, please.
Actually, let's bring two. Come on over here this end. Or you know what? Hold on. I'll get in the middle.
This is the middle?
¿Sabemos todos?
You're in the middle.
Echarle ganas.
Where's the middle?
Okay, here we go.
Irma first.
Taconazo.
Now this one.
Several, man, several.
Okay, count 3. 1, 2, hold it. All right, good. Anyone else?
Thank you very much, everyone. Gracias. Thank you.
Take one more with your city camera?
Go ahead.
Right over here, please. Okay, right over here. Count 3. 1, 2. Look over here. Hold it. Last one.
Esperanza, Esperanza, wait, please.
Here now.
Esperanza, ¿me puedes dar un abrazo? Oh, Manny, can you come here?
Yes.
Venga, sí.
We'll use 2 cameras. Okay, first one. Count 3. 1, 2. Over here, please. 1, 2. Last one. Now another one. Okay. 2. Look over here, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Bill, don't take off. We got to take a picture with you. All right. Yes. So hold on. All right. So actually, Bill, come on up now. Let's bring Bill up here real quick. Come on up here. Take a picture with Bill. We'll take a picture with them real quick.
Everything takes too long. You sat here. They parked me back there to get out of the car. That's still good. What did you get? I got one. I did.
Come on up. Come on up. Oh, we're going to get a picture with Mr. Bill.
Thank you. Long walk up here.
Sorry about that, Bill.
They make you walk, Mr.
Yeah, no.
In the middle.
Oh, you're so good to see you. You're looking good.
They film in the middle. Get in the middle.
In the middle, huh?
Right here, right here. Oh, yeah.
I've never actually met you personally.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I'm on the hand.
I know, I
Of
heard
course,
it.
I know about you.
I know everything goes on here every week, every 2 weeks.
Okay, look over here, please. Now 3 cameras. 1, 2. Hold it. One more. Hold it. Wait, come on, Maurice. Come on,
Maurice.
come on.
Yes. Hey, Danny.
Let's do this again. Okay, 1, 2. Hold it. One more. Okay,
Hold on,
next
hold
one.
on.
Hold it. Over here, eyes open.
All right, thank you, Bill.
I say
Thank you, sir.
I think y'all very
Take
much.
your time going back.
It takes time, believe me. It takes.
All right, the next presentation that we have is our military banner presentation to Lieutenant Colonel Harry Abdul for his retirement from the United States Army. Is he here? Come on up here, Colonel. Do we? Proclamation? What do we have?
Mayor, Mayor,
Yes.
the banner.
Pleasure. Thank you, sir. Very much. All right, so Colonel, come on up here. We're going to share some words. We want to present him with the banner that flew out in the city of Baldwin Park. I want to thank you on behalf of the citizens of Baldwin Park and this country for your service in the military, and of course, we are here enjoying our freedom because individuals like yourself who have served in this country. So on behalf of the City of Baldwin Park, thank you with the banner. Okay.
Okay. This is the bio for our Colonel Ariel. The second and youngest son of Geronimo and Evelyn Abuel. Ariel P. Abuel attended Sierra Vista Junior and Senior schools in Baldwin Park. After graduating in 1980, Ariel pursued an industrial engineering degree at Cal State Polytechnic University at Pomona. At the same time, he signed up to the U.S. Army Reserve Officers Training Corps program. Upon graduation in 1988, he was also commissioned to the Army's rank of Second Lieutenant Field Artillery Branch. Ariel's first duty station landed him in the former West Germany with the famed 2nd Armored Cavalry Regiment in the city of Bamberg. After the collapse of the East-West German Wall, his unit deployed for combat in the sands of Iraq during Desert Shield and Desert Storm in 19. This was his first combat tour, but certainly not the last. During the 28 years of service, Ariel performed in a variety of staff command positions. He was stationed in 11 overseas locations, Germany 4 times, twice in Italy, Turkey, Iraq, Hawaii, the Philippines, and Saudi Arabia. In other areas of the continental United States, he was posted twice in California, Oklahoma, Maryland, Missouri, and Texas. He also attended training school in Kansas. Ariel would later deploy with other units for combat and other operations. In 1995, the Joint Special Operations Task Force in support of operations provided comfort in Turkey. In 1996, 1st Maintenance Battalion in support of Operations Joint in Denver and Hungary. 2003, Joint Task Force Cobra in support of operations in Iraq, Israel. 2005, International Security Assistance Force in support of operations during freedom in Afghanistan. 2007 through 2008, Multinational Security Transition Command in Iraq in support of operations Iraqi freedom. 2012 to 2013 was a Joint Special Operations Task Force in support of Operation Enduring Philippines. 2014 to 2015, the Office of the Program Management, Saudi Arabian National Guard in Saudi Arabia. His last duty station was in Fort Hood, Texas, where he served as the Deputy Operations Officer for the 13th Sustainment Command. He was formally retired from active duty as a logistics officer with an effective date of November 30, 2016, and was awarded the Legion of Merit for his glorious 28 service. Is married to the former Cecilia Savino. Take a video here. For 25 years, they have 4 children: Alexander, Angelo.
2 of them.
Bring them on up. Come on up, children. We also have a beautiful granddaughter, Thea Alexa. Very good. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you. So at this point, I'm going to give the Colonel the opportunity to say some words. Thank you, Colonel.
A quick picture.
Let's go ahead and say some words. Go ahead.
Quick words. I want to thank the mayor for this presentation and also the chamber and also the city of Baldwin Park. This is a long program. I want to thank my father, Geronimo, and my mother, Evelyn. They're seated over there. My father was actually the one that submitted the request over 10 years ago for this banner. So this banner has been there for about a decade. So good job for the public's work. Good material. I want to thank my family, my wife Cecilia for 25 years, along with our 4 children. They've been very supportive of all the deployments and all the separation. So I thank you for that. I do want to thank God for protecting and giving guidance all these years. Last but not least, I want to thank all the soldiers, sailors, and airmen who had supported me along the way. And again, thank you guys for at least present here for getting me this banner.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I just want to, thank you. Thank you for that. I just want to say that what we want to do is we want to incorporate you in our Veterans Day. It's important for us to recognize you and present you the plaque that represents the city of Baldwin Park. I'm extremely impressed. So we look forward to placing him in our Veterans Day coming up in November. Thank
I'll
you.
be there.
Thank you, sir. Let's all get a picture. Bring your family up here. Let's get a picture.
Your dad and your mom
Yes.
and your children?
Yeah, have them
My
come up
dad's
here.
just somewhat a bit immobile.
Okay, all right.
Wait, he wanted to get on it.
We'll honor his dad at the Veterans Day as well.
Veterans Day?
Yes.
Hi.
Yes, let's go down back here.
How are you?
Mayor, and I do want to say I've had the honor, Mayor, I've had the honor to go to school with Ariel, and throughout our school years, he's always been an honest person, a wonderful person, a great leader, as you could see, and it's paid off. Thank you, Ariel, and I'm honored.
Yes.
Thank you. Here you go.
Hold on. We have a request here.
Yeah, stop the video and take a picture.
Oh. Hold on a second. Gotta get it right.
Okay, thank you, please. Yes.
All right, we're going to take our picture.
Manny, I'll get in there and do one.
And 3, 1, 2, hold it. One, last one. Next camera.
Awesome, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan.
So November, we're going to be in touch with you.
Okay.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Say congratulations to your dad.
Yes. We're going to take one more with Ariel? Okay.
Oh, here, I'll take a picture. Okay. Thank you,
Ariel, let's get back in the middle. We'll take a picture with you. Right there.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Count 3. Okay, count 3. 1, 2, over here, please. Last one. Thank you. And
Okay, you do. She's going to bend the camera. That's camera. That's camera.
My daughter's trying to follow my footsteps.
Okay, right over here, please. Last one. 1, 2, and hold it right there. Thank you.
One more with the city clerk.
All right, here we go. City Clerk, go ahead.
We went to school together.
Hey, that's right. They went to school together.
They're surrounded with lovely ladies.
Hey.
That will be next. Count 3. 1, 2. Nice. One more, please. New camera. 1, 2. Hold it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, Mayor, while you're getting the next one ready, I just want to say I want to thank our soldiers only because I know that there's a lot of you out here that serve, like Mr. Woods. Is there anybody else? Please stand up. We want to recognize you, Mr. Woods. Served World War II. And my little brother currently is serving in Qatar, Kuwait. He served a year in Seoul, Korea. And as we know, right now there's a lot of uncertainty. To all my veterans, thank you for your service. And past veterans, thank you for your service as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, at this point, we have 3 presentations. This one's presentation of proclamation in recognition of National Child Abuse Prevention Month. So I'm going to have Councilmember Cruz Baca come and read this, please. And I'm going to have this. Thank you.
A proclamation for the National Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Month, which is April of 2018. In federal fiscal year 2015, 4 million reports were made of child protective services, and child abuse and neglect is a serious problem affecting every segment of our community, and finding solutions requires input and action from everyone in our community. Communities must make every effort to promote programs and activities that benefit children and their families. And child abuse can have long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects that can have lifelong consequences for victims of abuse. And effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the meaningful connections and partnerships created between child welfare, education, health, community, and faith-based organizations, businesses, and law enforcement agencies. And we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and contribute to promote the social and emotional well-being of children and families in a safe, stable, and nurturing environment. And prevention remains the best defense for our children and families. Now, therefore, Mayor Lozano of the City of Baldwin Park, along with Mayor Pro Tem Pacheco, Council members Cruz Baca, Monica Garcia, Susan Rubio, City Treasurer Maria Contreras, and City Clerk Alejandra Avila do hereby proclaim April 2018 as National Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Month in the City of Baldwin Park, and urge all citizens to recognize this month by dedicating ourselves to the task of improving the quality of life for all our children and families. And at this time, I want to thank everyone, our police department, our mental health facility at the family services, everyone that gets involved, the schools in helping our children when they have problems or they're dealing with some type of domestic violence or abuse. So thank you to everyone to helping children have a better life.
Thank you very much, and I believe Mr. Mike Salas will be accepting.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, and staff. Yes, come on up here. All right, then the next one that will follow, we're going to have Councilmember Monica Garcia. She will be reading off the proclamation for the presentation proclamation. Do you have, which one do you have? Thank you. Okay, the Adult and Community Education Week.
Yes.
Ready? Okay, here we go.
10 years younger.
Quick photo. Minutes. Hey, count three. 1, 2, and hold it. Look over here. 1, 2. One more. Last one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Did you do it with my man? Hold on. Hold on. One more real quick, you guys.
One more, Mike.
Wait,
One more.
he says one more. Okay, you can sit. Oh, sorry.
All righty. Here we go. Here we go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, thank you. All right. Okay. All right, this Councilmember Monica Garcia will read the adult education.
Thank you. Adult and Community Education Week, March 12th through 16th, 2018. Whereas from March 12th to 16th, our state will observe. All right, that was about a month old. So we're going to move on to the National Public Safety Communicators Week, April 8th through 14th, 2018. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services. And whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our police officers and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the Baldwin Park Police Communication Center. And whereas public safety dispatchers are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. And whereas public safety dispatchers are the single vital link for our police officers and firefighters by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information and ensuring their safety. And whereas public safety dispatchers of the Baldwin Park Police Department have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. And whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in the past year, now therefore, Mayor Manuel Lozano, along with Mayor Pro Tem Ricardo Pacheco and Council Members Cruz Baca, Monica Garcia, Susan Rubio, City Clerk Alejandra Avila, and City Treasurer Maria Contreras, hereby proclaim April 8th through 14th, 2018 as National Public Safety Communicators Week in the City of Baldwin Park, and encourage the citizens of Baldwin Park to honor the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our city safe. So with that,
Who's accepting this?
Just one of our dispatchers. Pat?
Oh, I know. Oh, Pat.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Pat in a long time.
Very much.
for your work.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Believe it or not, 20 years.
Is it 20 years?
February. That's 20 years, yeah.
Hey, take a few pictures?
Yes.
This one first? This.
Thank you very much, Pat. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you very much.
All right. The next one, item that we have, we're going to have Councilmember Susan Rubio read the presentation and proclamation recognition of National Arbor Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. This is something that is very personal to all of us. I think the council has done a great job in always valuing open space, parks, trees. And so today we proclaim Arbor Day, April 27, 2018, whereas in 1872, Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas the holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind, water, lower our heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife, whereas trees are renewable resources, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, countless other wood products, and whereas the trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy for spiritual renewal. On this day, Manuel Lozano, Mayor of the City of Baldwin Park, along with all the council members, hereby proclaim April 27th Arbor Day in the City of Baldwin Park and urge all citizens to celebrate and support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, all citizens are urged to plant and care for trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this future generation. And with that, Mayor, we proclaim Arbor Day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Mike Salas will be the presenter. Just want to remind everyone that the Arbor Day celebration and environmental fair is Saturday, April 28th, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's at Morgan Park. So look forward to having everyone there. Let's plant a tree. All right, Mike. Oh, yeah, let me, okay, that's right. Yes. Yes. All right, just want to let everyone know that we're going to be honoring two individuals, Lillian and Marie Moore, of course, 101-year-old age, born September 6, 1916, served in the military during World War II. And also Rudy Escalera, died at 80 years old, who was a longtime resident of the city of Baldwin Park and a commissioner as well. So our condolences goes out to the families, but we look forward in celebrating their life as we plant a tree in recognition of their contribution to the city of Baldwin Park. All righty. So at this point, yes. Oh, yeah. Thank you, sir. All right. Okay, so at this point, we do not have any other presentations. We'll go ahead and go into the public communication. Anyone wishing to speak, you have approximately 3 minutes. Good evening. Hey, there's our legal counsel. Okay. Good evening. Yes.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, staff, and public. My name is Alfonso Contreras. Looking at the consent calendar, item number 7. I want to know who's affected by this and by how much financially. I'm not sure if this is the trash services that they'll be increasing their fees and possibly doubling. If someone can give us an update and let us know in the public. Also on item number 12, the CPI. Who again will be affected and by how much? Is this a trash services that's being increased to every resident? If we can just get an update on that. Thank you very much and have a great evening.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that, Mr. Contreras. All right, well, good evening.
Good evening. Gabriel Ramirez, resident of El Monte. I attended the couple meetings ago with, it was regarding we're coaches, and I want to clarify on the comment by the mayor saying about the contract of El Monte. I have the public records from El Monte. Contract agreement is with Freddie Mac. So I just want to clarify on that, just on that. So just to clarify on that. Other than that, thank you for your time.
All right, thank you very much for placing that in the record. All right, anyone else wishing to speak? We have approximately 3 minutes. Please state your name.
John Rios, resident. I'm going to need a translator.
You need a translator? All right, certainly.
I'm going to need Mrs. Baca.
That's fine.
Okay?
Ms. Baca, go ahead.
You translate?
Yes,
Should I put
absolutely. You
down
can
there?
do it from here if you want. That's fine. It's up to you.
Yeah.
All right,
Sí,
yes, sir.
está bien.
Okay.
Una de las cosas que están pasando aquí en la ciudad, con eso de plantar marihuana y todo, ustedes no se dan cuenta qué cerca se están poniendo.
One of the things that's happening here in the city, as far as the planting of the marijuana, you are not aware of some of the consequences that are going to happen.
Otras cosas es que las partes donde fuimos a mirar el domingo, medimos y todo, no están sobre la regla del Estado. ¿Okay? Las cosas que vamos a hacer, vamos a agarrar las copias y todo.
One of the things are the regulations, and we went to measure on Sunday, and we found that some of the properties did not meet the requirements.
Otras cosas es que en todas las warehouses van a tener que tener sistema de voltear el agua para atrás. No la pueden mandar por el sewer. ¿Ok?
In the warehouses, there's also has to be considered that the water has to be recyclable in order to go back into the facility and not into the sewers.
Ahora que ya está pasando todo esto, que los comisados la pasaron ahora, no los dieron tiempo de hablar a uno como ciudadanos y residentes de Baldwin Park.
Now that the Planning Commission passed it, they did not give us time to be able to go out into the community and to let the people know, or the residents know what's going on.
Otra cosa, lo que pasó el lunes con la señorita que estaba encargada del Planning Commission, que llegó y lo que hizo usted, señor mayor, agarró y la corrió porque ella no quería firmar, que no estaba haciendo su trabajo, que está muy mal.
Another thing that he wants to point out is that on Monday, an employee was let go, and Mayor, he feels that you did not explain and you did not let them know why this person was let go.
La señorita tenía casi 28 años trabajando por la ciudad de Baldwin Park. Y usted, como un pedazo de carne, la agarró y la tiró.
She had been with the city for almost 28 years, and you just threw her out like a piece of meat.
Que eso es muy racismo. Yo sé que a usted no le gustan las mujeres, que eso no me importa a mí, pero la mujer se respeta. Lo que he mirado sobre los años, usted no le tiene respeto a nadie. No le tiene respeto a los trabajadores, los commissioners que estaban antes, los corrieron todos. Por la simple razón que el señor Pacheco y usted y la señorita García no les gusta algo que no firmaron o que esto, el abogado que tenemos no sirve para madre.
Mayor, I know that you do not like women, and you have it's racism, and I feel that it also involves other employees and other people that when you don't like something, you voice your opinion about it. He used something that I don't want to really repeat.
Una cosa que tenemos que hacer ahora como ciudadanos de Baldwin Park, vamos a tener que juntarlos con la marcha que van a hacer con las iglesias. Ahí vamos a estar y vamos a hablar con las iglesias también. Porque ustedes ya se agarraron de no me gusta, te voy a correr.
He said the community needs to get together, and the march on May 12th will be, they will be there on March the 12th for the march. And it's obvious that when you don't like someone, you just get rid of them.
Usted es como un diablo. Es un diablo que quiere hacer lo que él quiera.
You are like the devil that does whatever you want to do.
Gracias.
Thank you.
All right, move along with public communication.
Good evening, Ken Woods. I'm a resident. I had the occasion to go to the Planning Commission meeting where Mr. Tafoya, your lawyer, he went into great detail on how these drug dealers were going to flood Baldwin Park with money and that it was going to cure everything. It's amazing. Money will cure anything. I wonder, what about prostitution? Can't you legalize prostitution? Look at all the money you could make. How about casinos? A couple of casinos out there would be great for making all that money. How about a horse parlor? There's a lot of ways all that money would come in. Wouldn't we all be happy because we got all that money? I think it's ridiculous. Baldwin Park, when I went to high school, I lived in Rosemead. You would not come to Baldwin Park. You just would not do it. I live in Baldwin Park. I've been here over 50 years. I love it. It went from bad to great. What are you going to do? Going to turn it bad again? I would like to make a comment on dispatching. For the last couple of years, we've had a big parking problem in our area, and I've been forced to use dispatch to help us out. Always very courteous, very efficient, and very proactive. And I'd like to thank them up the police department all the way up the line. They've been great to our area, which solves our problem. Takes about once a month to shake them up, and they come out, do their thing, and we're all happy. But this dope thing, darn, really?
Thank you very much. Move along with public communication.
Hello, City Council, residents of Baldwin Park. When you guys want to do a major project like you're trying to push this marijuana thing, why don't you get all your situation, start from the bottom and go up? You guys jump all over the place. You don't know what the hell you're doing. Excuse your language. You guys are supposed to be representing us in Baldwin Park. Well, let me tell you, you don't represent anybody that's worthwhile looking at because you guys don't know what you're doing. You're having these special meetings all the time. You have a city council, the planning commission. Don't you guys work together, or are you just a bunch of people out there doing whatever? That's what it seems like. You know, one lawyer's telling us we're doing millions. Treasurer is telling we're losing money. So are we rich, or are we poor, or are we going to go bankrupt? At the rate you people are going, we're going to go bankrupt. These people that want to put in this marijuana stuff, we're paying them to come in here in Baldwin Park. That makes a lot of sense. Don't you think it should be the other way? They should pay us so they can come into Baldwin Park? All I hear is a bunch of money going out and nothing coming in. But you guys don't care. You ladies don't care. The lawyer, as long as I make my money, I'll make sure you get it what you want. It's sad to say that a lawyer runs this city, and you three people, that you know who I'm talking about, just sit there and say, yeah, give me more for my retirement or whatever. But man, you're not helping the city. You should be working for all of us. How many times do people got to tell you that? I'll tell you, probably 1 billion times, because you people don't understand English. Maybe we should tell you in some other language that nobody knows. So when you vote for this, you should have had all your figures before you even opened it up. But no, the mayor, Garcia, Pacheco, the lawyer, they just want to pass it. They don't care. You know, it's our money that you guys are taking from us. It's taking your money just as well. And you people seem to enjoy it. The mayor, your lawyer, makes more money than you, and he's just a lawyer. I know lawyers make good money. No kidding, they do. They make good money. You know why? Because they read between the lines, and they get everything you people want done. So when you vote for all this stuff that you want, represent the 77,000 people that are got to pay for it. Not one individual, 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 or whatever. So keep staring at me, Mayor, because I'm talking about you and the rest of the city council. Oh, my God, I ran out of time.
Thank you very much. Moving on with public communication. Anyone wishing to speak? And a good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, staff, and residents of Baldwin Park. My name is Cristina Larios, and I'm the library manager at the Baldwin Park Library. I wanted to inform you about a citizenship information session that we will have this Saturday, April 21st at 2 o'clock. It will be a 2-hour bilingual in Spanish presentation on how to apply for citizenship. Attendees will learn about the naturalization eligibility requirements, the naturalization process and test, and the rights and responsibilities of U.S. citizenship. Also, on the following Saturday, April 28th at 3 p.m., we will have Lady Elizabeth Shakespeare helping us celebrate the 402nd anniversary of William Shakespeare's departing. There will be stories to introduce children to some of the finest stories of William Shakespeare. So again, this is Saturday, April 28th from 3 to 4, and our citizenship information session is Saturday, April 21st from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., and we invite everybody to join us. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent show this past Saturday. I attended there.
Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, moving on with public communication.
Thomas Gary. The city council is lining its own pockets with the money from the medical marijuana for their campaigns. They don't work for the people in the city, they work for themselves. That's what you do. It's going to have its way with you, though, eventually. Sooner or later, it's going to catch up to you and them, too. The ones with the medical marijuana and all this other crap. I don't know what you're all going to do when that recession comes. You're going to be in a bad way. You spin, 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 and just don't care about anything. And it's coming. Not going to be very much longer. Just like that riot in LA that's coming. That's coming too. That's why Charlie Beck is getting out of there. He knows what's coming. Not this summer, it'll be next summer. Next summer will be 27 years since the riot in '92. We know who we're talking about there. Well, I know anyway. And this marijuana stuff, it's no surprise. Be thankful I didn't buy that house at 4137 Puini over there. You never would have put that next door to my house. And I looked at that house. That's residential there. What are you going to do? Change the zoning on those people there to get that in next door? I'm not sure of the address. I think it's 45 next door, or 35, something like that. Wonder what they're going to think. You never would have got that in there next door to me, because you know how I feel about this. And you say there's no money involved in the facilities. Oh, they won't rob them at gunpoint for the money. They'll just take the marijuana and they'll take care of business of whoever happens to be there. More work for the police. Just what they don't need here. More crime. You look at other states and other places, people are getting high and they're driving around, crashing into who, whatever, doesn't matter. Doesn't care to you guys because you're getting your campaign contributions. You three dictators run this city like that. You know, you're just selling out the residents, just like you always do. It was Bisno years ago, Rome, and a few others. Whoever will give you the most money for your campaigns, and the money that's the money we know about. What about the money we don't know about that rolls in under the table? You think I don't know? There's got to be a way to deal with stuff like this, but it won't be at the state level. This has to be handled outside of the state, quite a ways up. You think I don't know about stuff? You're very foolish. I know more about stuff than you realize. And this cost of living thing you have in here for services, that's just another way to take away the money you raise the people get for their raises.
Time's finished. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. At this point, move along with public communication. Good evening.
Richard, how you doing, my friend? I'm one of many people who are watching you and your actions as a council member for the city of Baldwin Park. I want to let you know that we know that you have agreed to accept a bribe for a very significant amount of money to be paid to you tomorrow. After the vote that you made today in favor of an exclusive cannabis distribution license for Rookley Incorporated, we know that Roger Hernandez has been demanding the exclusive for Rookley and that he is a part owner of the Rookley company. We know that Roger Hernandez has had several conversations with you, your city attorney, and that the city attorney is involved in trying to help Mr. Hernandez, who is going to get the exclusive approved. We know that Roger Hernandez has threatened you if you do not approve the exclusive and is involved in the bribe agreement with you. We know that Roger Hernandez has threatened you. We also know that you have a schedule to approve the exclusive, which you did tonight, and you're expecting to get paid tomorrow. Does any of this sound familiar or true to you? Yes? No? A simple nod would work. I think your answer will be yes. I'll send you a copy of my email to the district attorney's office so that you know exactly what will happen next. I want you to see it all coming down, step by step. When you look back on it in the future, you will know that this moment is when you destroyed yourself. You are more afraid of Roger than what will happen to you if you get caught. I personally hope that you do. I can't wait to see you in the pictures in the newspaper. You really thought you could get away with it. And I'm telling you that, right? Look at that smile, guy. Smile of a guilty person right there. You should be ashamed of yourself.
All right, thank you. Move along with public communication. Anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, if not, I now declare the public communication closed. All right, council members, at this point, let me just first of all, so that everyone knows, the Constitution of this country is very unique and the best. There's no other country that can provide the type of the Constitution, the type of right that it gives every individual. Now, some of you heard this particular individual named Mr. Rios come up here. He is very well known to fabricate information, pose no validity whatsoever. But the Constitution the First Amendment right gives him that right, or anyone, whatever city you live in, you could go up there and accuse or say anything you want to that mayor, and you're protected. As a matter of fact, I have no recourse. No one up here on this dais has any type of recourse because we're public officials. So I'll tell you right now, this individual, it's unfortunate that he comes up here and continuously fabricates information. Of course, notice how he's very selected as to who he chooses up here. Yet, if you look at the voting pattern, it includes all of us here in specific areas. But that's what the Constitution allows this man to come up here and outright, and I'll say it, lie. The unfortunate part, there's no documents, there's nothing to prove other than he'll say what he wants to say. Déjeme decirle, primeramente, la persona que vino aquí acusando de ciertas cosas. Es una persona que lo conozco. Desafortunadamente, la información que ha dado aquí es fabricada y él es conocido de fabricar información. Lo que tiene él y que tenemos nosotros en este gran país es que how do you say First Amendment in Spanish?
El primer amendo.
El primer amendo de la Constitución de los Estados Unidos lo protege y protege a cualquier persona. Cualquier persona puede hablar aquí públicamente, acusar a la persona. Y yo como alcalde, ninguna de las personas que están aquí tenemos ningún recurso de poder hacerle algo a la persona, a demandar a la persona. Eso es parte de la Constitución que yo respeto. A la misma vez, y les quiero decir claramente que desafortunadamente esta persona es muy selectiva a las personas que está refiriendo aquí arriba. La formación que él tiene no tiene ningún documentos, pero está protegido por la Constitución. So that's, I just want to end on that particular. Yes, Councilman.
I'll just want to just respond. This individual that came up here and said statements just outrageous, it's untruthful, none of what he says. If anything, somebody's paying him to come up here and make these false allegations that aren't even true and far-fetched from the truth. But let me just, before we go there also, I want to just say, can you please, I just want to talk about some of the positive things that are happening here in the community. Let me just put these on, and I know a lot of people make allegations here and say things about how bad things are in the city. But I want to talk about, we're doing a smart parking upgrade. The completed installation of smart parking upgrades to the transit station and Metrolink surface lot. The project was funded by the MTA grant funds and restricted funds. Improvements include relocation of ticketed machines, purchase of the new ticket machines, installation of electrical circuits for new power feeds to the new server and wireless equipment. Parking internally signage, directional signs, ADA ramps, and wireless transmission devices for a fully functional and monitored parking system. So that means if you go to our parking lot, it's going to be modernized parking where you're going to know where the parking is. Entonces, lo que les quiero explicar aquí, if you go back again, sir, one more time. Estamos instalando una sistema nueva para que se puedan estacionar los carros y te va a decir dónde está la elección, dónde está la área donde está vacío para que se puedan estacionar su carro. Es algo nuevo para mejorar el estacionamiento que tenemos aquí con nosotros, para que todos saben dónde pueden estacionarse. Next one. We're putting up a number of solar panels throughout the city. We're putting them in different buildings, mostly at the parks. We recently did one, I think, at Barnes Park, and Manny Carew, if you could help me here, the one at Morgan Park and Hilda Solis Park. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a lot of this will help us, how the city save money, save energy, reduce the pollution footprint throughout our community. And so I think this is something really positive. If you go to the park today at Morgan Park and you look around, you'll see at night, it's well lit, it's beautiful lit, and it doesn't cost the city any money to light it. Those lights are brand new, they're LEDs, and we have solar panels that are also helping reduce the cost of energy within that building, including air conditioning, the light that are on all day, our swimming pool that is run the whole day, and all this is helping that out. So let me just read. This is our completed installation of photovoltaic systems, solar panel canopies at Morgan Park, Barnes Park, and the city's maintenance yard. Energy generated will be integrated to existing electrical systems and distributed to the SCE electrical grid. Excess energy will be used to offset electrical costs at various sites and citywide. The total energy generated at Morgan Park will offset the energy consumed making Morgan Park a 100% clean energy site. The solar project will generate approximately $105,247 in annual energy costs. What's the next photo there? Is that it? Okay. Okay, and then along with the cannabis, I'll probably say this, it'll be kind of long, but in English. I just want to kind of read a little bit about, the cannabis, and there's a lot of misinformation that is going out. Companies that for some reason don't support the cannabis are paying individuals, making statements that are totally not true and misleading the public. So let me just read some of them. The medical and adult use cannabis to industrial commercial zones with a permit and development agreement, the city added Chapter 127 of Title IX to the municipal code. The ordinance contains many safeguards to assure that the city and its citizens are protected and that any marijuana licenses conduct their businesses safely among the safeguards that are implemented. No manufacturing, so the first one is no manufacturing or cultivation site will be located within 600 feet of a school, a daycare, a youth center. No manufacturing or cultivation site will be within 50 feet of a residential zone. City staff has reviewed and confirmed that the distance criteria for the 15 proposed applicants has been met based on the information provided. However, as an additional safeguard, the applicant is required to confirm the distance requirements as part of their plan check submittal via their architect. All manufacturing and cultivation sites will be limited to certain city industrial and industrial commercial zones. All manufacturing and cultivation sites and operations therein and all equipment used must be in compliance with all applicable state and local laws, including all the building, electrical, and fire codes. The use and storage of hazardous materials, including flammable gas, flammable liquefied gas, and combustible materials must comply with all the fire code standards. All manufacturing and cultivation sites are required to be fire sprinklered under the fire code standards. From a public right-of-way, there should be no exterior evidence of the manufacture or cultivation of cannabis except for any authorized signage. All transportation of cannabis must comply with state law. High standards for granting permits with many grounds for denial of a permit. Requirements for security cameras to be installed and maintained on the sites. Alarm systems are requirements for sites. Requirements that licenses implement a system to track the cultivation and manufacturing of cannabis in order to prevent the licensee from diverting or transporting cannabis to any other location not authorized by the state. Video surveillance is a requirement. All applicants must execute an agreement identifying the city from any claims, damages, injuries, or liabilities of any kind associated with the operation of the marijuana facility. Requirements that the facilities maintain insurance and amounts and types acceptable to the city, including naming the city as an additional insured. Required inspections by the chief executive officers and his designees, law enforcement and their designees and the facilities. And control and regulation of noxious odors, and provide the city citywide powers to summarily suspend or revoke permits or disqualify any applicants from the regulation process. So the city closely monitors this. We have our police department, law enforcement doing a lot of work. We're making sure all the safety standards are met. They are not near schools and they are not near homes, despite what a lot of people will say here in the audience that you'll hear today. So anyways, also prior to all these, we spent about since 1996 when the voters approved Proposition 215, and the city then began to have in 2016, the voters also approved in 2016 the voters passed Proposition 64. Therefore, referred as the Control, Regulated, and Tax Adult Use of Marijuana Act, allowing the use and cultivation of recreational marijuana in certain circumstances. So for over the year, the city has held a number of sessions. I won't go over them. I'll probably put this on the website. But we've had a number of sessions getting input from the community about, or anybody who wanted to attend, which included some of the cultivation, manufacturer, and different groups, had an opportunity to make opinion. We then, we had workshops, were advertised by press releases, websites, email blasts, English and Spanish flyers, and the Now and our marquee, where we had about another 5 workshops in 2016. Then we had public hearings, August 9th, August 10th, August 11th, and here lately in December. So there's been a lot of scrutiny by the public and by the city in reviewing these permits that we have. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Look at the city website, verify what individuals are saying here, so that you can all come up with your own opinion on what you think about the permits. Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Mayor.
Yes, Councilmember Cruz-Baca.
And the slide would not have been possible without our staff that does such a great job to be able to do a lot of this, to meet with a lot of the developers, to meet with a lot of the different people that want to come in, to bring in a lot of the programs that review the contracts, that take a look at everything and make sure that this is in compliance, and to bring it to us so that we can take a look at it. And unfortunately, there are times when the council does not take that into consideration and votes against something that might be good for our community. With that, I would like to say that yesterday I got the news in the morning that Amy Harbin from our planning department was let go. You can call it that she resigned. You can say whatever you'd like. The bottom line is that she was terminated after spending 27 years with our city and giving a lot of dedication to everything that went on in the planning department. I was saddened to see that an employee that had spent that much time and dedicated that much time to our city had been just let go and thrown out like an old shoe. I am saddened that those decisions were made, and Mayor, I understand that you were very instrumental in this. I was never, as a council member, I want everyone to know that I was never made privy of this, or there was any discussion ever that I might have been a part of. We have emergency meetings, we have special meetings, but there was never a meeting to discuss terminating a stellar employee that had been here for 27 years. And I am ashamed that this has happened, and I am saddened by it, but I want everyone to know that I knew nothing about that until she had one foot out the door yesterday morning. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Murlag, anyone else wishing to speak? All right, so at this point, we're going to go ahead and go into the consent calendar. All right, so we have consent calendar as items 1 through, okay, we have a lot here. 1 through 10. Council members wishing to pull any items?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, Councilmember Cruz-Baca.
I want to I want to pull 7 and 10.
All righty, one moment. Okay, so 7 and 10 requested. Any council members wishing to pull any others? All right, at this point, I'll make a motion to pass consent calendars with the exception of items 7 and 10. That is my motion.
Second.
Any objections? See none, so moved. At this point, Councilmember Cruz-Baca requests item 7, which is second reading of ordinance number 1406, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Baldwin Park, California, amending Chapter 50 of the Baldwin Park Municipal Code and enacting a new section in Chapter 50 related to mandatory commercial and multifamily recycling. Councilmember Cruz-Baca.
Yes, and I'm glad that Mr. Contreras got up, because number 7 was in my notes to ask questions. My concern is, I know that this has been talked about for a long time. I don't know, is it you, Sam, or is it Rose that would answer my question once I present it?
Yeah, this is my item.
Okay. I know that this has been talked about, and other counties are already putting this into place, the organic, especially in restaurants and so forth. However, I want to see if there will be any fees, because I couldn't find it in any of the information that was sent to us. Are there going to be any fees, either now or in the future, that will be incurred by either our businesses or our residents as far as disposing of the organic waste?
Yes. So this this ordinance adds language related to California state mandated recycling for commercial and multifamily dwellings. It only applies to those commercial businesses or multifamily dwellings of 5 units or more that generate 8 cubic yards of organic waste. So we have been not meeting the state goal as a city for organics, which is what's leading us to implement this ordinance. Once it's implemented, it can be enforced and by code enforcement or so. But yes, there will be a fee from Waste Management for these businesses to recycle organics.
Do you know how much that will be? So that, because this applies mainly, like you said, to the multifamily, which are apartments, let's just say, and restaurants, was from what I understand from other counties, that the restaurants will have to, that the other businesses that have other things that they, no non-food items, in other words, or a single-family resident, that they're not, that does not, but how are the fees going to be applied?
Right. So this is not a new fee. These businesses have been identified and they have already been charged the fee. I don't have the fee with me, but I'll be more than happy to get back with you and let you know what that fee is. And it's been part of the fee schedule for a few years now.
Yes, I understand. Would it be possible to bring this item back to May until we can get some of the fees so that the residents or the businesses that this is going to affect will know what the fees are? Is Waste Management going to be sending out a notice so that they know, you know, our fees are going up, or they're going to be because of this or whatever? Do you know?
I don't know if Waste Management will be sending out an ordinance, but I have David Lopez here. He might have some more information.
Because
Good evening,
you know how
Honorable.
sometimes you get your water bill or something and it lets you know with your bill that starting in so-and-so date, the fees are going up and for the reason or whatever it is. Will there be something like that that will be sent out to the businesses or to the multifamily residents?
Yes, there. I believe that we're working. Staff is working with Waste Management at this time to make sure that these fees are not going to be impactful. Part of what the current fee has does already charge for some of the services. Anything that would increase that fee would, of course, be brought to back to council for your consideration. So anything that would be increased would come to council for approval.
So this is just to put it in motion, in other words, and notify or.
Well, this ordinance would provide the city an ability to enforce, to encourage. It has technical support. We'll be able to help those that can't meet it, and to take in consideration 8 cubic yards. It's about 200 gallons of waste per day. So it's a lot of waste. It's not. It's going to affect just a few of the businesses in Baldwin Park.
Is there a deadline for this?
The full implementation is 2019.
Oh.
So it's still a little ways away, but this is to show also if we can't meet the recycling quantity that we need to generate by implementing this program and tracking it, it still shows the state that we have a good faith effort, that we're doing the best that we can to try to meet the goal. And that's part of what this ordinance, its intent is as well. So we do want to show that to the state so that we don't pay those the penalties that they already have assigned for those that will be not in non-compliance and not showing any good faith effort for this program.
You know, I think it's a good idea. Like I said, I know several other counties are already doing it and have it in motion. However, the only thing that bothers me is that there's we don't know what it's going to cost the residents so that we can let them know. Is there something that we could put that per sending out notices so that the residents that this applies to will know what the fees are going to be so that they're not surprised?
Yes, definitely. And we are working again with Waste Management to try to make sure that that's being done. I believe that they've already started that process to identify all the businesses that are generating more than that, the 8 cubic yards and also 4 cubic yards in some of those cases. It's going to be very few, and we can bring that information back to you so you know what businesses are being affected.
Okay, can we bring this back to May so that they
Mayor, I
can?
just have a couple of questions.
I
Hold on.
haven't
I don't think
finished.
she's finished. Go, Councilmember, go
Okay.
ahead, Cruz Baca.
So that way we can get an idea of what the businesses are. And also, I would really urge that Waste Management sent out the notices in their bills, their invoices or whatever, so that way it comes directly from Waste Management. It explains. I understand what it's for because I've seen it, like I said, in other counties already. But I think that, I'm trying to avoid people starting to make phone calls and ask, staff or anyone, why did our fees go up? Especially, like I said, I know that it's going to affect restaurants and anywhere where there's food or organic waste. So would it be possible for us to please move? I'd like to move it to the 1st May, if you please.
Sure, I'll go ahead and second. There's
I
a
appreciate
motion. Any objections? See none.
Mayor, I just had a
Yes,
comment.
Go ahead,
Sorry, I was-
Councilmember. Yes.
Cruz Baca didn't allow me to speak, but I just wanted to say that, what I would really like to have is to have our representative from Waste Management be here next week and kind of explain some of these cost increases or changes that they're making to that ordinance. So if we could have her next week and discuss this.
Make that
In May,
arrangement.
first meeting in May.
I mean, first meeting of next week.
Yes. All right.
I just want clarification on something. I believe the contract also has the word large events, and I'm just curious, can you give us examples of what that means? Venues is one thing because they're stationary. What is a large event to you?
Okay, it's already defined in our ordinance that is being presented to you. A large event would be considered where there are more than 2,000 individuals at that event. And that would also be things of, it's privately owned parks, parking lots, golf courses. Not that we have any in Baldwin Park. Also street systems, and also like the open streets event. That would be a good example where we would provide some organics recycling for that program, for that event.
So when they pull permits, that already comes with that mandate, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. Appreciate it.
Right, so at this point, if there's a motion by Councilmember Cruz Baca, it's seconded, and no objections. So at this point, we'll move over to item 10, which is the resolution of the City Council of the City of Baldwin Park supporting California Proposition 68, Park Environment and Water Bond. Councilmember Cruz Baca.
Oh, and first of all, thank you, David and Sam, for explaining that to us. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I believe this is Rose. Is that you, Rose, the water bond, the number 10? Oh.
Yes, it is.
Hi, Manny. Okay. My questions. Could you sort of clarify this for us? Because I found it a little difficult to understand about Prop 68 and the parks and
Sure.
everything.
Be happy to elaborate a little bit about it. Prop 68 is on the ballot in June. The purpose of this staff report is for the City Council to consider adopting a resolution in support of the California Proposition 68 Parks, Environment, and Water Bond. Just to refresh City Council's memory, we've had a few propositions on the ballot over the last 10 to 15 years. We received money from Prop 12 to help build a teen center and skate park, Prop 40 to make improvements to Barnes Park, and we've also been a finalist for Prop 84. Unfortunately, we weren't funded for a joint use project up in the north end of town at Olive School. So this is basically another bond act by the state of California. It was originally SB 5, and it evolved into Proposition 68, so it's on the ballot, and it's an opportunity for the cities to receive money for parks and also the state parks and some environmental projects. On page 2 of the staff report, the City of Baldwin Park, it appears that we will be eligible for almost every category excluding $218 million to repair improvements at the state parks, and the bond will be approximately $2.53 billion. So, and there's some per capita funds within this bond if it should get approved. And per capita is where the cities receive monies, every city receives monies automatically based on the population of the city of Baldwin Park. So that's why it's very important in 2020 when we have the complete count coming up right around the corner that every person is counted. We've had very successful complete counts in 2000 and 2010, and 2020 is right around the corner. But I hope I answered your question in regards to Prop 68.
Yes, thank you. And I make a motion that we pass resolution of the City Council of the City of Baldwin Park supporting California Proposition 68 Parks, Environment, and Water Bond. Water bond.
Second.
All right, who's second?
I was like silent.
Okay, Councilmember Susan Rubio, at this point,
Thank
any
you, thank
objections?
you.
Seeing none, so move. All right, we'll go out down to City Council acting as successor agency of the Community Development Commission. So consent calendar, which is item SA1, successor agency to dissolve Community Development Commission of the City of Baldwin Park's warrants and demands. So at this point, I guess we're opening up a public hearing. Am I correct? So at this point, am I correct on that? Yes. So at this point, I'd like to open up the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak? Isn't it part of it?
No, this is a
Right.
consent.
Sorry about that. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to pass the successor agency to dissolve the Community Development Commission, City of Baldwin Park's warrants and demands. That's my motion.
Second.
Who's second?
I did, Ricardo.
Vice Mayor Ricardo Pacheco, second. Any objections? Seeing none, so move. All right, we'll go down to the public hearing, which is item 11, a request for.
Mayor, if I could just
Yes.
add one thing, and I'm not sure.
Sure.
If there's any stipends associated with that particular committee, make sure that they're all stopped and that they don't continue.
The what?
If there's any type of stipends associated with that committee that you just turned off, no?
Oh, yeah, I'll go ahead and read. Yeah, let me go ahead and just enter that for the record. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
All righty. So the, recommend, okay, all right. All righty, yes, okay, thank you, Ms. Alejandra Avila, our city clerk. Asked me if I could please reread the actual successor agency. So I'm going to go ahead and move for staff recommends that the council acting as governing body of the successor agency ratify the attached warrants and demands registered. So that's my motion. It was seconded by Vice Mayor Ricardo Pacheco. There were no objections. Thank you very much, City Treasurer Alejandra Avila. All right, so at this point, we'll go, Councilmember, Vice Mayor, what did you request on public hearing?
The stipend.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All right. So this is to announce as required by Government Code Section 54952.3. Members of the City Council are also members of the Board of Directors of the Housing Authority and Finance Authority, which are concurrently meeting with the City Council this evening, and each council member is paid an additional stipend of $30 for attending the Housing Authority meeting and $50 for attending the Finance Authority meeting. All right, thank you very much. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and open up the public hearing. Item 11 is a request for consideration of 15 development agreements, 14 for the cultivation and manufacturing of cannabis, and 1 for the exclusive distribution of cannabis and cannabis-related products. Location 4145 Puente Avenue, 14551 Joan Bridge Street, and 824 Ramona Boulevard, and 4150 Puente Avenue, 1311 Spring Street, and 428 Cloverleaf Drive, 5117 Conview Avenue, and 13467 Delwood Street, 14837 and 14841 Ramona Boulevard, 5148 Bleecker Street, 15023 Ramona Boulevard, and 4121 Little John Street.
46.
Missed on 46? 4621 Little John Street, 5157 Azusa Canyon Road, 5175 Commerce Drive, 13450 Brooks Drive, Unit A and C, 4802 Little John Street, and 13460 Brook Drive, applicant City of Baldwin Park, case number DA 18-0 through DA 1815. So at this point, I'll open up the public hearing for those that are in support of this particular public hearing, what we just read for cannabis. Anyone opposing? All righty. So this is for opposing. Thank you. Good evening.
Greg Tuttle, business owner.
I'd like to state that I drove around with Mr. Rios on Sunday. We took pictures. You all have
right here.
pamphlets there, pictures.
Yes.
We did with a tape measure with a stick, walk the footage and everything else. Out of the 15 places, 13 are disqualified. 2 only qualify. Now then, when you have a public hearing and the 600-foot radius is what you're going after, why are you only serving property owners within a 300-foot radius when you have a 600-foot radius? Now then, why is residents put under the emergency ordinance in December of last year for the 50 feet on residents when it should be at 600? It's a sensitive area as claimed by the state. Also, the distributor and the manufacturer growers have to be the same distance. It's on their applications, which I have here with me, because you say we never bring proof. The proof is here in the pudding.
I have it.
The Roger Hernandez deal, I can confirm some of this. I had a 6-hour meeting with this guy before the Ruckley deal was done and all this. And I understand a lot of corruption was in with the city attorney's office. I understand that a lot of, there was an Isaac Galvin there all the time. I understand there was meetings at several of the high fancy steakhouses. I understand the city manager had nothing to do with these meetings. It was all held at the city attorney's office. Very convenient. I also understand about a burner phone that Robert Tafoya has for Pacheco so that they don't get too many calls, because I've been trying to get the phone call records and just doesn't seem to happen. I don't know why. You know, and we guys come in here, the city never did a walk down. What they did was send code enforcement out to see if these buildings qualified as a building, that it was met up to code. And several of them, like Royal Coaches, was cited. You've got buildings over there, Royal Coaches, you want to approve that you're putting in that condo thing right next door. Now you want to approve Royal Coaches deal. Well, we know the buddy deal. Roger got them a buddy deal with the Toke thing. Roger's running Monica's campaign. Roger got Ruckley to give $10,000 to Taylor to get Pacheco a job as assistant manager over at the Rialto Water Board. Good job, Pacheco. The corruption just never stops in this city. How's your new car doing? Did the weed growers pay for that too? You haven't told us yet on that one. So we see that there's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of stuff going down, and we're going to expose it, and it's going to get ugly as it goes. This planning commission deal that you blame Amy Harbin for, it was, sorry.
All right, that's fine. All right, thank you very much. All right, moving along with the public hearing, though this is against the cannabis.
I must have missed the roll call for you guys. I didn't hear you do that tonight. I didn't get over here early enough to check these addresses for myself. I'm a pretty good judge of distance. I don't need to take a tape measure, but I know that 4137 over there on Pewini Avenue is residential. So you can't put it at 4135 or 45 legally, because that's right next door. You're corrupt as anything. That's okay, because the IRS might come calling someday and audit a great many of you. Did you know that bribes and payoffs and kickbacks and money under the table is taxable under the IRS code? Did you know that? I'm sure Robert Tafoya knows that. I'm sure his tax consultants could tell you that. If you're caught, you know what they're going to do to you? Any clue? Just ask people that have been audited and had all their assets locked up and they couldn't do anything with them. Oh, I almost said something I shouldn't. So you want to play games, go on ahead. As I thought originally they were only going to be pot growers. Now there's a distribution in the mix. Where did that come from? Yeah, you know, no bounds. Whether it's 300 feet each way from the center or 600 feet, some of these places clearly don't qualify. But you don't care. You've got a clause there where you got the money. Once you got their money, I remember there was a medical place many years ago. You took her money too, and then you sprung the 1290 on her. They couldn't build that there. So this is nothing new. This has been going on for more than 10 years that I know of. And what did you do when I exposed that? You sent the code enforcement to shut me up. Didn't work though, did it? That's your mode of operation. That's the way you operate. The silence people who speak against you, the poor lady from planning, she must have said or inferred something, and no loyalty even after 27 years. You kicked her ass out of here just like nothing. You know, people that do things like that end up effed up some way. Somehow, some way, that's going to come back, and it's going to take care of business. Bad karma, call it what you will. Some of you like to grin over there like Monica does.
Okay, could we get back on the cannabis, please?
Yeah, you don't...
You're out of line, but go ahead.
Well, I could really be out of line if I gave you the correct salute that I think you qualify for, and it's not a Roman salute. It's the other one where the hand is nice and high, because that's the way you act. You mistreat these residents here, and you don't care. You just don't care. So someday,
All right,
IRS is calling and the franchise tax board too.
All right, so at this point, we're going to move along with anyone wishing to speak that's opposing the proposed cannabis.
Hello, City Council, residents of Baldwin Park. You guys, ladies, you have to, I should have a survey to find out and then print it up on these boards so people can see this. You people do not answer questions. That's why you're there, to give residents answers. You don't answer nobody. If it doesn't concern you individually with a nasty remark, then you reply. But other than that, we can ask you any question in the world, and you will not answer.
Hold on.
None of you.
You need to speak on a subject. This is a public hearing regarding the cannabis.
Under the Constitution, I get to speak whatever I want. Remember, you said it a little while ago. So until that, wait till I'm finished. And then you can interrupt anybody else, okay? When you people vote for issues that concern us residents, doesn't it sub your conscience any? Let me tell you, it doesn't. Because you don't care. The few that do aren't the majority. So they have to go, well, wait till next time. So you guys and ladies, when you vote for us, do it for all of us. Because under the Constitution, Mayor, we have the right to make the comments no matter if you like them or not. We can show you proof. And you know what? You'll stand up there next meeting and say, under the Constitution, you can say any remark you want, and it's welcome. Well, thank you. You're going to get it consistently because you lie to the public, and so do the other ones. The reason why we're up here, we want you to do things the right way. Quit trying to find the loophole to get into it. But no, you don't care. Somebody's pushing you to put this through, and that's all you care about. It's our constitutional right to demand good or bad. Now, you want always no complaint to the city council. Well, that's why you're there. One of the two. You have good and you have bad. You don't like the bad? Don't do it. Don't you think that would be the most logical thing to do? I got a criticism from Mr. Luna. Maybe I ought to think about that a little bit and see what's happening. You know, I don't come up here just to talk, Mayor. I want you people to do what's best for the 70-some thousand people that live in this city. And at the rate you're going, a bell rang.
All right, thank you very much. Moving along with public communication. Thank you. Then they have to stay on there, right?
I don't need a translator now. John Rios, resident. That's what I was talking in Spanish, that a lady that was here for 27, almost 28 years, because she didn't want to sign because the lawyer, the mayor.
Okay, this is
whoever.
about the cannabis, sir.
It is about the cannabis. I'm against what you did to the young lady. That's my main concern. You think just because, she didn't want to sign, that you could just go ahead and fire her? I wasn't lying when I was talking in Spanish. I was telling you everything that I said is a truthful thing.
Are you going to talk on the subject?
Yeah, I'm still talking about the
But this is about cannabis. I opened
Yes,
up a public
it sure
hearing.
is.
This
It
is
sure
not the
is.
regular
It's
public
still-
communication.
It's
This is
not
not
a
the regular public
communication.
communication.
Yeah.
No, sir, it is
all
not.
those things that we measure on those warehouses that we went on
Thank you.
Sunday.
Thank you.
Okay? Everything that was there and everything is correct. Of all the mess that you have, 15, 2 of them are good. Other than that, forget it. We're going to go to those neighborhoods and let them know what's happening. We're going to go to the schools that are very close to them and let them know. Okay? That's all.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, we'll allow the public hearing. Okay, so at this point, I will now declare the public hearing closed. Council members? All righty, so at this point.
Well, I would like to discuss one in
Yes,
particular.
Council member, yes, Susan Rubio.
I want to discuss one in particular, which is item C. Item C is the Rookley Inc., the distribution license. And I personally object to this one in particular for 3 reasons. This is the monopoly contract in perpetuity that already cost the city $1.4 million worth of tax revenue for city programs that our community really needed. Number 2, it is my understanding that the state deems contracts in perpetuity and exclusives illegal. And so if we move forward with this, I think that we risk that the state will not give the permit, and 14 of our other companies may fail. And I also think that the residents should know that we're being sued currently, and we have to hire an outside counsel to defend this company that is not part of the city. And so I don't think we should move forward with this company unless we know that they're going to pay the legal fees. We've never hired a lawyer to defend a third party. I think if it's our city, we should defend it, but this is about that contract. And so unless they're going to pay for that, I think we should discuss it. I also think that we should get a recommendation from the state. If they find contracts illegal because they're in perpetuity, and for everyone that's out there, that means for life. That means that we can never take that contract away. And also, that is the only contract that can transfer hands without coming to the council. And alcohol licenses is very particular. You cannot resell the license or sell it outside because they're so sensitive. We're dealing with alcohol. In this case, we're dealing with cannabis. This is the only contract that doesn't have a provision. That means that they could transfer at any time, and the council will never know. And I think if we want to protect our residents, we need to know who those permits are being given to. And I think we need to rewrite that to make sure that the provision is there, that if they choose not to continue with the contract or the permit, they need to come back to the council so we make the best decision for our residents. So I think that that one in particular should be pulled. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, so at this point, Councilmember Susan Rubio made a motion that it be pulled and was seconded by Councilmember Cruz Baca. So at this point, are there any objections?
Mayor, I'll object to the motion only because these were decisions that were made in December, and contracts were, and please, City Attorney, please chime in, but I understand that these contracts were already approved in December. And so, I mean, if anything, you know, what we're doing here is a formality because of a lawsuit that was introduced to the city. But for us to go back on a decision that was made in December, it just seems like that would open us up to another, you know, a challenge because of an agreement that was already put in place with the 15 companies.
Mr. Tafoya, can I interject before that? If that contract was already signed and we already have
Mayor,
passed
I think
it, then
that's
that
out
means...
of turn. It's actually out of turn because my question was to the city attorney. So please, Mayor, if you would please enforce the rules of decorum. Thank you.
The terms in these agreements were approved in December. However, this is a different agreement because we added the government code statutory language. The agreements in December were non-statutory development agreements, so we did add those terms to make them a statutory development agreement, but all the terms you're talking about were approved in December that are in the agreement. So, for example, the length of the contract and the assignability, all those things were
Right. So that's my question. So those were already approved in the non-statutory agreement. And so are they binding? Are they legally binding between the city and the operators, all 15 operators?
Well, the development agreement that you approved in December is legally binding unless a court determines that it's not. And if in the event you were not to approve these development agreements tonight, the previous development agreements are still valid and enforceable. Now, Councilmember Rubio and Councilmember Baca are correct that there is a lawsuit challenging those development agreements, and a court could determine that those development agreements are invalid. It's my opinion that those development agreements are not invalid.
Right.
We drafted them specifically such that they were not government code development agreements, but a court could disagree with me.
And that would be my concern for changing anything that we approved back in December at this point in time, because you believe that the non-statutory agreements would be considered valid by a court. Now, if we made any changes now, my concern is that we would be opening ourselves to yet another challenge. And if there's a legally binding agreement in place right now with these 15 operators, then I think that's still liability for the city. Now, going back to kind of the process when we approve a land use project, so we will usually approve a development and disposition agreement, which provides approval to the applicant for a conceptual project. And that's a legal document. That's a binding agreement between the two parties. From there, it goes on to a vesting, more of a statutory agreement. And that has to do with the specifics of the project. And so there are two parts. And so that's kind of how I see what we're doing here tonight is there was an initial agreement, and then, this is an action to support that initial agreement to vest. And so my concern is that if we take up any changes at this point in time, we are going to open ourselves up to other legal challenges. And I just want to state that for the record, and I think that that's a concern because, there are already these legal binding agreements in place. And so that would be my concern, and I just want to voice that here. And so I will oppose the changes at this point in time for those reasons.
Okay, I have some questions as well.
At this point, yes, Councilmember Susan Rubio.
Okay, so, and I agree with Councilmember Garcia that these contracts were approved in December, and I believe that they all should stand because we did approve them. However, this one in particular is illegal in that the state does not allow monopolies, number one, or in perpetuity. And again, that means that we could all be gone, and years from now, they'll continue to have the license because there's no provision there that we can revoke the license. So I just want to ask the legal counsel a couple of questions. Did the original contract have given them the right to have this contract in perpetuity?
Yes.
I believe that's correct.
Is this contract a monopoly? That means that we are forcing 14 other companies to use this company.
I would not use the word monopoly, but we are forcing the 14 other companies to use this company.
Is this contract the only contract that could change hands? That means that we lose control over who they transfer it to at any given time.
I believe that's correct.
Is it your professional opinion that a court would find the in perpetuity monopoly or as you put it, forcing other companies to use this company. Is it your professional opinion that the perpetuity clause would stand in a court of law?
The perpetuity clause has been changed in this particular development agreement. So the development agreement you have before you right now is for 49 years with additional renewals. And I believe that would stand in a court of law.
So the original contract that was given was illegal because it was in perpetuity, it was a monopoly, and we are giving this person the ability to transfer a license. The alcohol license or permit could never be transferred because it's such a sensitive thing for our community. Any person that may be a bad actor can get a hold of that license and be using it inappropriately. Why are we giving this company the ability to transfer the license without council control? I'm not sure that our residents out there would want to know that there's a license that could be given to, and for the sake of this conversation, I'm not accusing, but it could potentially go to a mob boss or someone that's using it inappropriately. Now, another thing the residents need to know is that we are using your tax dollars to defend this company who we haven't even approved. Based on the legal counsel, they're saying that this contract is illegal. The one that was approved in December is illegal. And so now it's brought back and they want to change the language so that it becomes legal. Nonetheless, it is still monopoly. It is still something that should not be done differently than all the other 14 were. I think that every contract should be treated the same. It shouldn't be given special consideration. And it really worries me that, you heard them, it's 49 years. That means that they can operate forever, while the other contracts have a provision that they get reviewed every 5 years. And I think they should, because we need to know if someone's performing appropriately, illegally, and we need to have the ability to either revoke that license or proceed forward depending on what the issue is. With this contract, in particular, we're giving it to someone that's not the city, it's not the council, and we lose control. So I urge the council to reconsider this one. If anything, we should make it equal to all the other 14 contracts. And I think that this continues to be illegal, and unless legal counsel, you tell me that the in perpetuity is going to stand, I think that we should reconsider this license. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, Councilmember, who's that? Oh, Cruz Baca.
Yes, originally, as you know, I had voted for this particular company to come in. But in consideration of some of the legal problems that we're facing, I think that we should hold off with this and not let the other 14 people pay the consequences for something that was done by this other company. I think we should hold off and see what happens with the lawsuit and then come back and reconsider. I think that there's a lot of things that we need to consider. There are some, I would like for staff to take a good look at some of the measurements that Mr. Tuttle did and see, I know those buildings, some of them, and I have voiced some of the questions. The cultivation that's across the street from the teen center, near the high school, near some of the residences. Some of the ones in the north part of Baldwin Park, which I consider the north part of Baldwin Park, which are on Arrow Highway, I think that we really need to look very closely and take a look at this particular company and say, why are we making exceptions when these other companies have had to comply? The lawsuit concerns me. It really does. I read it very carefully last night when I saw it, and now we've got a copy here on our desks. And I really do think that we need to consider that and not walk into another situation where the city is going to be responsible.
Mayor, I have
yes.
just one more thing.
Yeah, can I speak after?
Go ahead, let her go first. And then
So first, for me, it's important that we have a recommendation from the state because the state does not allow monopolies or in perpetuity contracts. So I think I would love to see what the state has to say, because if the state deems these illegal, then that means that they're not going to get a permit, and 14 other companies are going to be basically set up to fail. And they've already also invested a lot of money. Number two, I also want to wait. We need to know they're going to reimburse us. We are already paying legal fees. The residents of Baldwin Park's tax dollars are being used to get a lawyer to defend this company, and I don't think it's fair that our residents need to pay for something that has nothing to do with the city. So I think that we need to have some kind of contract where they are going to reimburse us for all the money we're spending on their behalf when they're not part of the city. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Is it Councilman Vice Mayor Ricardo Pacheco?
Well, Mayor, now hearing my two council colleagues on this issue and hearing Mr. Tuttle's statement earlier, I believe that there's potentially corruption between Mr. Tuttle, Cruz Baca, and I brought in Roger Hernandez. Now, my theory is that somehow you guys talked because she voted for this contract initially, and maybe because you shook him down and didn't get what you guys wanted, now all of a sudden she's flipping her vote. I mean, that's where I think, I know you're laughing about it, but I think that's what happened here. Is there's nothing wrong, this contract and this so-called monopoly, other cities have long-term agreements. I mean, trash companies have similar agreements that is reflected in this particular document. It's to the council's discretion to vote on these agreements that we have. And I think, Councilwoman Baca supported it wholeheartedly. I mean, I wasn't here at that meeting, neither was Councilwoman Rubio, but you supported this 100%. And now I'm just finding it curious. All of a sudden, now you're finagling and looking for ways to not support it. I mean, I'm just kind of, I'm confused as to how would you support it then, and now all of a sudden you just have a different outlook. I don't know. I say we just move forward with this.
Mayor?
Yes, Councilman Cruz Baca.
First of all, Mayor, you yourself say that some of the residents get up and they speak nothing but lies, but yet we're allowed to do it on the dais, and unless you know that there were conversations that I in particular had with Roger Hernandez, or that I was shook down by somebody.
That's what
he said, not me. I never said that he never said that I had a conversation with Roger Hernandez. He said he did, not me. So don't try to put out there so that the public and everyone can hear that I had conversations with Roger. I will bring Roger Hernandez here so that I can myself, so that he can tell you if there was anything. And I don't want to argue with
you.
Allow to finish.
I explained my change of mind. It has to do
it's unsatisfactory. I think
hold on, allow her to finish, Vice Mayor, please. Thank you.
The lawsuit is very serious to me. Whenever there's any type of a lawsuit. And you might as well, which you know, the attorney that's representing Rukli is a good friend of theirs, Jimmy Gutierrez, which we know what's been going on with Jimmy the whole time. That also bothers me.
I don't know what's going on, but go ahead.
Okay, so those are facts. You can check to see who's the one that's defending, because you yourself were the one that okayed Jimmy Gutierrez in closed session. So go ahead. You did.
Well, I don't know what that has to do with anything, but Mayor, let's just move on.
I
just stated my opinion.
Jimmy has said it to everyone. We did it in closed session, but yet Jimmy and everyone seems to know what went on in closed session. So just like always, everybody knows, whether through text or whatever. Why do we have closed sessions when everything's going to be repeated 20 minutes later? So all I am saying is that I do not want, I think that this contract needs to be looked at again. I agree with Councilmember Rubio that we need to look at the state. We need to look at the state. We need to see what the state is going to say. And that's my opinion.
Okay. All right, so let me just get this straight so I'm clear. So you're telling me that you never met with Roger and Mr. Tuttle for 6 hours like he said?
I never met. Did.
Okay, I'm not talking to you, sir. You're not involved in this conversation. Okay, Mayor, can I have him leave? Because I don't need him to be interrupting.
Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, I'm done. I'm not going to continue this. I'm just saying my opinion. You may not agree with it, but if you're saying you didn't meet with Roger Hernandez, like this gentleman, Mr. Tuttle, said, you guys didn't meet for 6 hours, then I believe he's just fabricating lies like the rest of the people that are coming here trying to just fabricate issues, because there's a lawsuit going on, and I believe that behind the scenes, some of these guys are being paid to make these outlandish statements that are totally ridiculous. That's what I think, Cruz. I mean, that's my opinion. You're entitled to yours. And Mayor, I don't know, was there a motion to approve it?
There was a motion. There was a previous motion by Council. Yes, go ahead.
if anybody goes out to dinner with some of them, it's you and Councilmember Garcia and the mayor.
But you go to dinner. You go to dinners, and I got proof that
You have
go
been
to dinner.
seen at many dinners and lunches, including
Great, I go to dinner.
including
I do
Roger
too.
Hernandez.
He's
So
a friend of mine. I eat with
I
him
will
too.
challenge Roger to come
I'll
here
challenge him.
and to say if he has ever met with me and we discussed whatever you're saying. As you're putting words, I heard what Tuttle said,
I do
and I
too.
want a copy of the minutes because he never said that I was in the meeting. You are doing that
No, I
so
think
that the
you're scrambling.
residents
Hold on.
feel that I am
Scrambling,
behind
Cruz, I
this.
think.
Ricardo,
Okay, hold on, please.
That's my opinion, Cruz.
All right, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Mayor,
Yes.
you know, we have to follow, whether we like it or not, there are certain rules that we need to follow when one or the other is speaking. You don't have to respect me out of the dais. You don't. I don't ask for that. But up here, I think that I have the right, and it's not a constitutional right. It's a right as a person, as a fellow council member, for you to let me speak.
Go ahead, all right.
Mayor?
Yes,
Can I
Councilman-
take the
yes,
floor? Thank
yes.
you. I'd like to submit a substitute motion, to go ahead and move forward with the recommendation from staff to approve these items as they've been presented to us tonight. And the reason for that is because these are agreements that are already legally binding as of December. So I want to go ahead and do this, protect the city, correct whatever details we want to correct in moving forward. And that's my motion, is to
Right.
to
Okay, so
approve.
there's a substitute motion which supersedes the previous motion by Councilmember Cruz Baca and then seconded by Councilmember Susan Rubio and then seconded by Councilmember Cruz Baca. The substitute motion by Councilmember Monica Garcia. Is there a second? The second by Vice Mayor. At
I
this point-
second, Ricardo Pacheco.
Okay, second. Any objections?
Yes.
Okay, objections. So at this point, I will ask our city treasurer, Maria Contreras, or our city clerk, Alejandra Avila, that will conduct the vote. All right, so this, all right, thank you. This is for the substitute motion by Councilmember Monica Garcia to move ahead.
That is correct. Councilmember Monica Garcia?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Pacheco?
Yes.
Councilmember Cruz Baca?
No.
Councilmember Rubio?
No, but I want to state for the record that I oppose the lifetime contract. I oppose the monopoly. I oppose the city and the taxpayers paying for a legal counsel to represent this outside company, and that is why I absolutely say no. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you.
Mayor Lozano?
Yes, okay, the motion passes at 3-2. Real quick, just, I don't want to stay on this subject long, but Mr. Gus Romo, sir, everything that went through the planning was thoroughly checked, so all the properties are legally, were constructed or excuse me, those that have been rented, at least whatever the case is, but meet the actual distance, right, in accordance to the city ordinance, am I correct? Or if you could just kind of elaborate on that.
Yes, Mayor. City staff has reviewed, including our former city planner and our associate planner. We've gone through our GIS and looked at the distance criteria, and the distance criteria is 50 feet from residential zones and 600 feet from sensitive uses such as parks, teen centers, youth centers, etc. There is an additional provision, however. As a safeguard, the applicant is required to confirm the distance requirements as part of their plan check submittal via their architect. This is similar to developer coming in and verifying maximum heights and setbacks. That's something they'd have to do through the plan check as well. So there's an additional safeguard.
All right, I just want to add that to the record.
Mayor,
Yes,
and I want
go-
to add one more thing to the record. And just for the record, we all heard it here. I didn't say it, but everyone up here did. This company has to do with Roger Hernandez, as you all know. He has a restraining order in the city for domestic violence, and 3 people here are supporting domestic violence abuser with a restraining order, nonetheless, in the city of Baldwin Park. Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor.
Mayor, let me just add something.
Vice Mayor.
So it becomes more clear and more apparent to me is that I have 2 councilwomen that have a bias toward this particular company. One, because she has a dispute with her ex-husband, and the other because maybe you made an arrangement that didn't come through. I don't know that, but it's just apparent to me that between you and this gentleman here in the audience who's laughing, there's something going on. I laughed too. I laughed when that gentleman came here and made all these accusations about me and all this stuff. You didn't laugh then, right? But I thought that was funnier than heck, that you pay somebody out here to make these outlandish statements, Cruz. That's funny, huh? I laughed to you, fool.
Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember
I'd
Morgan.
also like to state for the record that these companies were already approved, like I said, back in December. One of the reasons why Rukli was approved at the time was because they were the only company that agreed to enter into an agreement providing prevailing wages, health care, pension to local residents. And so those were some of the community benefits that we discussed at the time, and it made sense at the time. Again, my concern would be that if we were to change course at this point in time, we will open ourselves up to a legal challenge. Now, as far as the comment that Councilmember Susan Rubio has made about us supporting and working with an individual that has a restraining order, I also want to point out that you have worked very closely with Greg Tuttle, who also has a restraining order and has had a pattern of abuse towards women, including myself, and you've never stood up, you've never asked him to stop, and in fact, you've washed your hands and have said, that you have no control. So I just need to put that on the record in response to the statement made previously. Thank you.
Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Cruz Baca. Yes, ma'am.
I will reiterate that the reason that I am saying no is because we are in litigation with a company that is that has concerns. It is costing our taxpayers money, which has always been a concern, what is spent, even with other lawsuits that we've entered into. I believe that there is vested interest between some of the council members up here and how they have received money from the Rukli people, and that concerns me. Are we looking out for the best interest of our residents, or are we doing this because it's a fast way to make some money? My concern is that we are in litigation. There has been a lawsuit that has opened. That is not going to stop anything from these changes are not going to stop anything. Unfortunately, these changes, and I know that we were inventing the wheel, these changes should have been in the original contracts from the very beginning. But I understand that everything was being rushed and everyone was being asked to please hurry this by December the 31st. So my concern is the litigation that's going on right now. What is the state going to approve? What is not being approved? And where do they stand within our community?
And Mayor, one more thing. Right now, he just said that I had a vendetta. I'm still a professional, regardless, first and foremost. And I'm going to reiterate what I said. I think that companies should be treated like everyone else. Whatever we give to one company, we should be able to give to the other. What I'm objecting is to the special treatment, the exclusivity, and everything else, but they should get a contract just like everyone else, go through the process just like everyone else. So yes, I am saying right here that I'm for it as long as it's equal to everyone else. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so at this point, we'll move on. We're going to go ahead and go to item 12, I believe, which is the update, the cost of the city service fees based on Consumer Price Index, CPI adjustment. Who's handling this?
Mayor, we're asking
Yes.
tonight that you just open the public
Public
hearing
hearing,
and then
right.
continue it into the next regular meeting.
All right, sounds good. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and open up the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this item?
Mr. Mayor, I'm very sorry to interrupt, but the last motion, there was a motion to go forward with
Yes,
the
that is
development
correct.
agreements, and I want to make the record clear that that was a motion to approve.
That is correct. That is correct.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
for that.
All right, so at this point, yeah, go ahead. At this point, Mr. Al Contreras.
Thank you, and thank you for pulling it and bringing it on the next session. By the way, Alfonso Contreras, resident of Baldwin Park for at least 50 years. My question is, I need to be educated a little bit more, I'll be honest with you, is what are the city services fees? What type of utilities, if they're utilities or as services provided by the city? And how much is the CPI? And how will it affect each and every one of us residents? That I would love to have at your next meeting or whatever it is that you bring it up with those questions or answers for us.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Very good. Then we'll bring that up. at
We'll
the
have a
next-
full
yes.
presentation at the next meeting and
All right.
answer those questions.
Okay. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone? Oh, okay. This is in favor to the,
Sometimes it's in the middle, you don't know which way is which.
Okay, so this is in favor of the update of the cost of the city service fees based on consumer price index.
I think I'd be on the opposed side of that.
Okay, all right. So at this point, anyone else wishing to speak? If not, anyone else, I'll open up for anyone that's opposing.
The reason for opposition is that every year people think they're going to make more money when they get their hourly raise, but it seems like there's always something there to take it away. And this is another one of those things. Everything's rising. Social Security went up $27, Medicare took $25. So it's keeping everybody behind. They think they're getting ahead, but they're not going to get ahead. Because when you add those fees like that, what was that, organic waste? Who do you think pays for that? All the people that eat out. So that's just another way. You think you're going to get ahead at 50 cents an hour, they're going to make sure that you never do. More and more fees. Now there's this. And it says in here also about the credit card fees being passed along. The charges that the card companies charge. So you're not going to get anything for free. Not anymore. It's just one more way to squeeze a little bit more. Of course, you guys don't got to worry. You got the cannabis. Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to speak? Opposed? All right, if not, at this point, I will now close the public hearing, and this will continue for next month's meeting. All righty, so at this point, we'll go over item number 13, with the resolution of the City Council of the City of Baldwin Park confirming the advisory committee reports and levying the assessment in the Baldwin Park Citywide Business Improvement District. So at this point, who's handling this?
Before Finance Director Rose Tam starts, I just want to note for the record there was a correction memo placed in front of you on the dais with a couple minor corrections to the report.
Okay, so that's it?
And Rose will give a short presentation.
Or do anyone have any questions? We just approve? I'll go ahead and move for a motion. Staff recommend the City Council approve the fiscal year 2018-19 bid allocation budget to restore the full rate and approval resolution number 2018-259, entitled a resolution of the City Council of the City of Baldwin Park, California, confirming the advisory committee's report and levying the assessment in Baldwin Park Citywide Business Improvement District for fiscal year 2018 and 19. That is my motion.
I'll second.
Second. Who's second? Councilmember Monica Garcia. Any objections? See none, so move. All right, the last one is the item 14, which is the credit card integration service and teller accounting permit software system. Who's handling this?
This is just, we brought this back to you. The council had approved this with a previous credit card vendor. They couldn't meet their obligations, and so Finance Director Rose Tam did some research and brought this back with another vendor, and she's here to answer any questions if you have.
Alrighty. Does anyone have any questions? No. If not, at this point, do we need a motion for this?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any objections? See none, so move. All right, so at this point, I'm going to move to adjourn the City Council meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. I have
Yes.
one thing, matter of point of clarification. The city clerk brought to my attention that there was some confusion regarding the motion that was made by Councilmember Garcia, and so I want to clarify it for the record because I think it's really important as to all of these things. So, number one, I believe Councilmember Garcia's motion was, first of all, to approve all 15 development agreements. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Then you also need a motion to approve Ordinance 1410, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22, 23, and 24. And what I would recommend, Mr. Mayor and Councilmember Garcia, is that you make a motion to approve ordinance of the City Council of Baldwin Park authorizing the City of Baldwin Park to enter into a development agreement with Genome Research for the cultivation and or manufacturing of cannabis at the real property located at 4145 Point Avenue, APN 8437-015-014 within the City of Baldwin Park. And that motion would include all of the ordinances related to the cannabis, including and up to Ordinance 1424. So it would be Ordinance 1410 up to Ordinance 1424.
All right, so at this point.
Is that also your motion, Councilmember
Yes.
Garcia?
Thank you.
I think that needs a vote, Mr.
All right,
Mayor.
so at this point, there's a motion by Councilmember Monica Garcia. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, any objections?
Yes, there were objections
Okay,
on
objections.
the particular
Mayor, if I
item.
may, the language of the motion also needs to include to waive the further reading and introduce the ordinance. We need to be cleared for the minutes. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so at this point, okay, roll call.
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Pacheco,
Yes.
Councilmember Baca,
No.
Councilmember Rubio,
No.
Mayor Lozano.
Yes, okay, the motion passes 3-2. All right, so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and move for adjournment.
Mayor, before you go move to adjournment, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I would like to inform the council that the week of May 6th through the 12th, it's Municipal Clerk Week. So I would like to put it on the next agenda to do a proclamation to be placed on the May 2nd agenda for Municipal Clerk Week, and I'll have more details for you on what that means.
Thank you, appreciate that,
Thank you.
Alejandra. Thank you very much. All right, so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and move for adjournment of the City Council.
Second.
Any objections? See none, so move. All right, at this point, I'd like to open up the Baldwin Park, where did I leave it? The Baldwin Park Housing Authority. So what we have here is consent calendars, items 1 and 2, and that's my motion to pass.
I'll second that.
Any objections? See none, so move. This one, I'd like to move for adjournment.
Second.
Okay, any objections? See none, so move. All right, so at this point, I'd like to open up the Housing Authority. Was that the Finance Authority? I'd like to move for the consent calendar. That's my motion.
Second.
Any objections? See none, so move. At this point, I'd like to move for adjournment.
Second.
Any objections? All right, so at this point, we're finished. Thank you very much. Viva Baldwin Park. Good evening.
Good night.
Okay, let me see what I have here.